recording, yeah, Garibaldi, you know what I mean, Yeah, it's Klotrax tips and tricks. How you doing? Welcome to my channel. Like, comment, subscribe in the future if you like what you hear from this. This is going to be a little tutorial on how to make a bass line on Ableton Live. Now, this track you see on the screen, this is a track that I made from a suggestion from my friend Serge. Big up geezer. You might have heard the reel, you might have seen the reel. It's about that guy who's had 23 kids, 22 with the mother. Really a bad man. But if you ever listen to this track, this is what it sounds like. Let's turn some volume on. Let's get some volume started first. Turn the side off. So yeah, if you want to check out the full track, I'll put it at the end of the video or in the description. It's on my channel. Go and check it out. But at the moment, I'm currently recording through my mic setup, and I'm not sure on the input, so please bear with me. But yeah, please follow on, and we'll see if we solo this bass line. This is what it sounds like. Just click on the link here. Now, I've copied that across down to the bottom here. Let's say again, say here. Oh no, that's the same again, but I've took all the processing off and kept it to its rawest of raw. So now if you see here, it's an operator, and you'll find operated instruments, operator here, and you just drag and drop, drag on screen, and it loads up an operator. And then what you do is Command and G on top when you highlight it, and that makes a drum rack, so you can add more operators into the same channel. So you'll see that on this channel here, how I've done that. Command G adds another operator. But we'll stick this first one here, we'll solo that, mute the other one. And on here we have the 4 oscillators. Now I've got the yellow one here just activated, which is the singular sine wave. You see this routing here on this little L. Click on it and this menu comes up here, and you can choose a certain type of routing. Now I like to use L1 for this one. That's the best way to describe it. The yellow one is soloed compared to the other colours, which are these ones here. Now these ones here will go into one to the other, and this one won't interfere. It's be on its own. So on that one I've got a single sine wave, which you have a listen. You hear the sub level, and then a note higher. That's all it is. Look on, if I just show you the piano roll, it's just a B and then into a F. Now go back to the piano, go back to the effects, which is this menu here on that channel. Now on this one, on the next oscillator, we'll highlight this one. I've put it to a 4.4 decibels on top of a 6.7 of the original sign. I've turned the second one into a 7 course, which is now sounds like this. Now that you might think, fucking that's a bit high, isn't it? But yeah, that's another sine wave itself. And then on top of that, I've added another, on the next oscillator, I've added a square wave, a square D, which is a square wave. And then that's on a 17 decibel and on a 16 course. Now it sounds like this. Now, again on the 4th oscillator, same sort of thing, but on a -10 decibel, a bit higher than the last one before. 16 before, and on top of it, I've added some envelopes. On each envelope of the last 3, I've added some release. So you see here, this one here is release. On each one, I've put some tail on each note. So when you let go of the note, some extended sound comes out, so it releases the sound, so it's not so sharp. And on the last oscillator, I've added some attack, which you'll see here. So it just takes a bit of time for it to kick in before it goes into. Now it sounds like this. Right. Now, on that, I've added. So we'll go to this time here and we'll add this to, let's say, 98, no, 1882. Now that tail was really extended, the time has really stretched it, that's what time has done. Now, we'll add the pitch envelope, which you'll see is this red dot here. If you click on it, it goes here, and this is the automation of the pitch envelope. So it says maximum 100 here, and then at this point it goes to the opposite, -100, just for the end note of the phrase. Now, if you watch at the start of the noise with the pitch envelope, max 100, it goes like this. That's because I've added some decay, because when it starts off it sounds like this. A bit of a kick to it, a bit of an impact, but what we'll do is add some decay to about a couple couple of second and a half. Just really extended that pitch envelope. Now, on top of that, we'll have a filter, and what we'll do is take out a lot of the top end, because a lot of top end is really harsh sound, but so now to call that top end down, and you might think, oh, this takes away dynamics, but you'll see what I'm saying in a second. We add the LFO on here, LFO, and we'll turn all these off, because it normally starts off like this. What you do is turn the filter on, turn all the oscillators off, because you can send this LFO to all the individual oscillators, or just the filter. So this was just the filter this time. And that LFO activate where this frequency is set on this point here. So now if you listen, I've got it on -4 on a square LFO. Now it's choppy, right? You can have it as a sine wave, which will make it smoother. But I'm using a square wave for this one, you'll see why. But on that, I've got a maximum amount here, so it really pushes the LFO, so you can really hear it working in them sound frequencies. And then altogether, that's about it. I've got it on a -12. That again, that's just different scale. Like imagine if there's a B here, it'll be a B down here instead. It's just I couldn't be bothered to change the MIDI, but I've changed transposed down -12. But yeah, that's how I've set up the operator. What I do after this is add some processing on top of it, because it's quite really raw, isn't it? It's not what you're hearing originally. So if it adds an EQ, and I've cut out a lot of the low end, because you might think, well, we need the bass, but what I've done is I've doubled across the original sounds. Turn that EQ back off again. I've doubled up the same operator. I just press Command and D, and it duplicates. We'll delete that because I've already done it. And on the same one, it's exactly the same thing. I haven't done much to it apart from took the frequency here and just allowing just a solo of the low end. So, and what I've done is put a sine wave on it. So that's now a solo low end, which won't be interfered with of the original sound. So I've kept that area isolated, which is why on the top operator, I've added an EQ and cut out all the low end. So the low one, the one below, is just all the low end. So this now takes away all the low end, and it's just going to be not interfering with my low end. So there we go. On top of that, I'm going to have some amp, which you can find in your audio effects here. Find amp, EQ8, amp. But amp, I've put it on a blues, not much done to it, just apart from the blues, and it sounds like this. Alright. And then add some overdrive. Again, tune it to your own preferences, however you want your sound to sound. As now I'm really pushing it now, really getting it to really grit. Another amp on top, but this time a rock setting. Now it's really getting dynamic now. It sounds gone from something basic to something a bit more processed and a bit more something else going on. On top of all that, I'm going back to the original subby bass, and that one has I've just literally got just an amp on it at a bass frequency here, which is just a bass amp. And what I will do is add an EQ just before it, and maybe cut out the higher frequencies as well, just to clean it up extra. Because it's a subby thing, it doesn't need any higher frequencies. It could be sitting there, muddying up the mix if there was. Because on top of the saturation, they might push frequencies that weren't there before, might put the saturation. But again, we'll put it after the amp, and I'll clean that up. Okay, that's the process of both operators in the drum rack here. Now, what you can see as well is each one, I may have messed around with the levels here on my oscillators on each one, as you can see, slight differences. But again, tune to your preferences. It's just isolating the sub level to how you want it. Again, once you've got all that in one section, it will sound like this. Now you think, well, that's pretty good already, but what we're going to add now on top of all that is a saturator with a sinoid fold and a soft clip, and that's now going to sound like this. Again, you might not notice the subtle differences, but it does make a big difference. And then we have an EQ on top, and again I've took away the low end because after saturation it still brings in harmonics that's been pushed in areas that were sort of ducked out, and that's bring them back out. So I've ducked out the low end to go 30 Hz again, and then I pushed around the 100 and a little boost around my mid tops, which is around here, about 5k around here. And then after that, I've had some more saturation. I love a bit of saturation, can't beat it. And on top of that, I've added an auto filter. And an auto filter that I've automated here, you see the red dot, click on it, the rate is automated like this. So it goes from 3.53 to 0.61. Now, the higher the number, the faster the rate. So if you listen to it, I'll show you. And if you ever play around things and you want to go back, so you just click on this arrow here, and it'll undo all that. So it goes back to the automation. But that's automated in there, and it's got a maximum amount on a rising LFO here. So it goes wah, up. You can have it filtered like wah wah wah, but I want to just go up 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 all the time. And I've had the frequency cut off at the mid top mids here. Well, low mids really maybe, but mid range just here. Bear with me. But on top of all that, this is what it sounds like. And on top of all that, because it still sounds quite raw and it sounds a bit digitally, on top of it I'll add a forest floor reverb, but on a low cut, which you'll find just here, close here, and that means the input processing won't mess around with the low end, but it will take all the high ends of the bass, the sound design, and just add reverb to just that area with some decay time. Most likely try and wear it, bring it down, and balance it out, and it will sound like this. And then you add it on top, and then when you play it on with the drums, this is what it sounds like. So yeah, that's how you can make a bass line from scratch. I've showed you some basic knowledge on what's there and how you use them. Still so much more you can explore if you do, and I hope what this video has helped you in understanding some ideas on how you apply yourself. I mean, always find your own creative ways about doing things. Don't think about setting it to such as a strict way how other people do it. It's all a creative process. Find your creative flow, find out what works with what, find your patterns, what works for you. But that's just the baseline of how I would do it. So big up for checking out my video. Thank you for your time. I hope this has been useful. Enough love for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you like. I'll be doing some more videos in future. If this one gets some good feedback and you like it, I'll definitely see what else I can do for you. So yes, Klotrax signing in, signing out. Big up to you. Thanks for loving it. Thanks for loving what I do, and thanks for tuning in. Enough love. Peace.